There we go. Now we got audio. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in. It is Friday Fun Day. And then we'll have Monday Fun Day. Let me put my hat on here because this young man was right. He was right about everything. Trump was right about everything. And we're seeing more and more of it come to fruition. I mean, it's like on and popping. What's going on, everybody? It is Friday. Oh my goodness, this has been a very interesting month. October so far has been an exciting month. It's been a very exciting month for all of America and even the world. You know, the world is looking at America right now because the world going, oh my goodness, America's government has been shut down. What would they ever do? What would they ever do? Well, apparently, I was talking to this young man earlier. So I've been finding myself going to the gym, trying to get in shape, mind, body, and soul, trying to get it all in shape here. And while I was in the gym, I was talking to this young man, a tad bit older than me. And he was talking about the stock market. He said that's all he does. He looks at the stock market all day. I guess he's a day trader. And he looks at the stock constantly. And next time I see him, I'm going to ask him about, Nancy Pelosi stock options. Has she made any changes? Do you go based off of her? But anyways, he was saying ever since the federal government has shut down, the stock market has been going through the roof. It's been really good. And I said, well, that's really a good sign. If that's the case, if the stock market is doing a lot better, could you tell me why we should open up the federal government? I mean, why should we reopen it? If this is like helping the stock market, everybody else is making money. I mean, this is really good to me. I mean, I really don't have a problem with it. I think this is really, really good. And I think we probably should see more of this. I think we should see more of the federal government get cut down and remove all of this fat that has been in our country. I think it should all go away. And I think everyone would agree with me, because this federal government basically needs to be a lot smaller. Now, yesterday I talked about the math, and the reason why we had to shut down is because of the Democrats. And now, right now, all of the Democrats, they're trying to convince everybody else that it was the Republicans that shut the government down. But all of the Republicans voted to open the government up, except for one, Rand Paul, of course. Rand Paul, he's the only one. But all of the Republicans, minus one, voted to keep the government open. All of the Democrats, minus one, voted to tear it down, to break it down, to shut it down. John Fetterman being the one. Now, with that said, the Democrats, Chuck Schumer specifically, because this is the Schumer shutdown, or maybe it should be called the AOC shutdown. Right? The first time that this was getting ready to happen, a shutdown, Chuck Schumer said it would be more damaging to the men and women that work in the federal government if we were to shut it down. It would be more damaging to the Democrats that are in the federal government. So Chuck Schumer, the last time, said he's voting to keep the government open. AOC, the radical left, they were extremely angry with Chuck Schumer because he sided with the Republicans to keep the government open. Extremely angry with him. I mean, they were piping mad. How dare you, Chuck Schumer? How dare you? This is terrible that you would do such a thing. Well, guess what? This time around, because AOC, all the rumors and allegedly that AOC was going to primary Chuck Schumer. And see, Chuck Schumer is scared of that because right now they don't have all of the money coming in that they used to. USAID, I'm always bringing it up, other government entities. They were funneling money to the DNC to help for their campaigns, so they can run their campaigns as corrupt as they are. Well, all of that went away. But AOC, on the other hand, and I mentioned this yesterday, AOC, on the other hand, she gets a lot of small donors from these impressionable, small-minded people. They're sending money to AOC. AOC is not going through the DNC for the most part. For the most part. People are donating directly to AOC, $5 here, $10 there, and it's adding up. So she's become one of the biggest fundraisers for the Democrat Party. Chuck Schumer knows this. And she says she threatened him that she was going to primary him if he goes along with the Republicans again. So this time around, AOC spoke, Chuck Schumer jumped. Chuck Schumer gave the Democrats, the radical Democrats, exactly what they want, shutting it down, but it's going to shoot him in the foot. Chuck Schumer already knows. Chuck Schumer already knows what's going to happen. So now, President Trump, being the president of the United States of America, and just because they shut the government down, doesn't mean we no longer have a president. We still have a president running the country. We still have a president. So they just handed everything over to President Trump. So what President Trump can do, he can go in and look at all of the wasteful jobs that are pointless, that are meaningless, that have been put there by Democrats just to suck up money from the American people. Just to suck up money from the American people. What gets to happen now? President Trump gets to go in and say, remove this, remove that, remove this, remove that. Whatever the job is, whatever these programs are, President Trump gets to look at them even deeper now because they can't stop him. They shut the government down. And the thing is when President Trump gets rid of these wasteful spending jobs, once he gets rid of them, the Democrats can't reverse it once they open the government back up. So this is really a good thing. I've been really happy. This has really been an awesome month, October. Okay, so let me share some of this that proves how these liberals are starting to melt down. And now some of these liberals, these radical liberals, they're starting to say, open it back up. Open it back up. What are you doing? What are you doing? You got to open it back up. He's getting ready to destroy us. And you know what? I hope, because what is day 3 now? They went to the floor, and I guess they're not going to go to the floor until what, Monday? Y'all let me know. I don't think they're on the floor today, right? Because a lot of them are out of town now. So, okay, well, since y'all not going to come to the table, we're going to go ahead, and it's Friday. A lot of them leave on Thursday, right? Because they had a vote yesterday, and the Democrats turned it down again. All the Republicans said, let's open it back up. The Democrats said no. So I guess go home for the weekend, come back on Monday. Before I show you this, let me share this with you. I talked about this yesterday. This is on my website, uniteamericafirst.com. If you go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, let me put the link up on the screen here, if I can. Where you at? Where you at? Oh, here we go. Let me put my website up on the link here, up on the screen. uniteamericafirst.com. You can see it right there in the bottom there now. Yesterday, I was asking if I add my letter that I wrote to President Trump, if I put it on my website where you could get it, download it, and share it. Well, I did it. Actually, my producer, she took time to do it, Shannon. And it says, help me reach President Trump over the big tech tyranny. And if you go to my website, I haven't done it on my mobile, but I know on the computer, I'm pretty sure it will work on a mobile. And I'll do it right here, right now, while I'm asking you to go there too, because I know a lot of people will do it on a mobile. So you go to it and you can see the PDF file just on the other side there. And you just scroll down just a little bit and you click on the PDF file. And yeah, it will show up on the mobile device. And you can see the PDF file right there. And at the same time, you can also, you can copy the link. You can send it to other people, asking them if they would do the same thing, right? So just scroll down. It looks a little weird on the mobile device. I'm not sure why, but just scroll down a little bit. You see a white square, and then just go down right below that. You see where it says PDF right there. It's a PDF on the phone. Just hit that, and it will show you the letter that I sent to President Trump. And what I'm asking for everyone that's watching, if you could help me out, download this letter that I sent to President Trump. I've already sent the letter. I'm asking you, anyone who willing to help me, because if 100 people sent it, I'm pretty sure we would get President Trump's attention with just 100 people. Just 100 people. So if you would, please, it costs you the price of a stamp and the envelope, of course. So if you would, if you want to help me, download my letter, mail it to President Trump. Mail it to President Trump. Because Google just agreed to pay him, was it $24.5 million because they took him down? Well, what about the rest of us? And see, what I'm asking in my letter is that President Trump looks at the rest of the country, what they did to the rest of the country. They just agreed that they did it to him. And they've done it to multiple. They did it to all of us before him. It was like him was the last straw, and they're paying him, right? All I want them to do, I mean, I would like to, get payment for all of the damage that they've done, but if nothing else, stop with the censorship and reinstate it to where the people can make a living. That's all. I mean, that's all that we want. Some of us are willing to say, let bygones be bygones. Just allow us to make a living to be able to keep the lights on. So unitesamericafirst.com, download the letter, and you can see it right there. Okay. I'll bring it up one more time at the end before I get off of here. But let me get to some of this exciting news that the Democrats are losing their minds about. And this is President Trump getting ready to say, you're fired to all of these people in the federal government that show up to work every day and do absolutely nothing. They do absolutely nothing. They sit in a chair, they watch soap operas, they watch The View. None of them need to have a federal government job any longer. And I'm looking forward to it. And at first they were like, well, I don't think, they were like, is he actually going to do it? It's day 3 of the shutdown. Tomorrow's going to be day 4 and day 5 and day 6 and day 7. And I'm hoping over the weekend that the people that are not doing anything, they will get the notice that you're no longer employed with the federal government. You have to go to the private sector like the rest of the country. And this is a problem for the Democrats. Why? Because this gives an inside track for Democrats to be disruptive in this country. That's the reason why they're fighting so hard about it. That's the only reason why. They want people to be on the inside so they can try to manipulate and stop Trump from making the country great. Listen to some of this.
And day 2 of the government shutdown. An update as well on the White House's warnings of that mass firings of federal workers are imminent. Well, the word now is that it's likely thousands will lose their jobs.
Let's go.
We're going to start looking across the board at layoffs and at agencies that we feel do not best serve the American taxpayer that may need to be halted or permanently cut.
So it is unclear at this hour what specific jobs, which programs the White House is looking to eliminate for good. But in part of an interview released last night, President Trump continued to blame Democrats for the government shutdown and then touted his ability to cut so-called Democratic projects.
But this is the Democrat shutdown. When all the Republicans voted to keep the government open and the Democrats said, no, who does it fall on? Come on.
There could be firings, and that's their fault. And it could also be other things. I mean, we could cut projects that they wanted, favorite projects, and they'd be permanently cut.
Earlier today, the president said,
let's go. Let's go. This is what I voted for. Did you ever think that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats would hand President Trump the plug to the swamp? I mean, that's what they did. Chuck Schumer unplugged the swamp and said, here you go, Trump, here's the plug. And it's starting to drain. And now they're starting to realize, oh my goodness, what did we do? We shot ourselves in the foot. Stupid liberals.
He was meeting with the Office of Management and Budget's director, Russell Vought, to, quote, determine which of the many Democrat agencies to cut, calling this an unprecedented opportunity. Meantime, the shutdown standoff between Republican and Democratic congressional leaders remains in a deadlock. And while lawmakers, of course, do continue to get paid, tens of thousands of federal workers are not. Many of them, of course, still working, but now with no idea when they will see their next paycheck. CNN's Arlette Saenz is on Capitol Hill. So Arlette, the Senate out today in observance of Yom Kippur, but
you see that? So now they're mad because the layoffs are getting ready to come, and these layoffs should happen. They really should. one person on Rumble, hey, leave me some comments. Y'all, look, I got the comments. I got the chat going on right there. The only one I don't have in here is from X. I need to get those in here, but I don't have Getter. For some reason, I can't get Getter to show up in here, but I have Peel.net comments will show up in here, which is awesome, phenomenal. Along with Instagram. I'm live on Instagram right now, everybody. Rumble will show up, as well as Facebook and YouTube. So please, by all means, leave me a comment. They show up here. You're right there. Participate. Let's go. Right? Let's go. See, there goes mine right there. I just put one there. Let's go. Thank you so much. Okay, so check this out. Check this out. The Democrats, this is like the total meltdown that we've been looking for. I want this meltdown to happen of the Democrats because President Trump, again, he's been handed the plug to the swamp for him to just, chuck. And the thing is, President Trump just had to wait. President Trump didn't have to force it. He just had to wait. He had to get the Republicans to get on board. He had to get the Republicans to get on board and finally say no to the Democrats. Get them to get the Republicans to say no to the Democrats. See, this is something that Democrats are not accustomed to. How dare you tell me no? The thought of it, you actually telling me no. See, you're not supposed to tell Democrats no. But the Republicans finally grew a backbone, a spine, and said no to the Democrats. And now they're livid. And thank you, AOC. Thank you, AOC. I'm thanking AOC right now because of her dealings with Chuck Schumer. And now they're about to see the results of that. And I hope President Trump, one person said that President Trump, hopefully they'll keep the government shut down for 60 days. I'm so with that. Have y'all noticed the difference in the federal government since it's been shut down 3 days? I mean, how terrible has it been? And now they're threatening the airline system. Well, guess what? The airline system, regardless of what the government is doing, the airline system will still continue to function. That's the lies that's coming out of the left. It's going to continue to function. We're going to continue to have a military. We're going to continue to have these high priority entities. We're still going to have them. Military, air traffic control, first responders. We're still going to have these. The things that we're not going to have are these woke agendas that the Democrats have been pushing on everybody. But see, Democrats, to them, that's high priority because they're funneling money to us. They're giving us the inside track. They're there to stop Trump. And that's the reason why their upset is going away. Like, listen to these nut jobs here on MSDNC. Same thing. They don't ever think about the consequence when they do something of their action. They don't ever think about it. They're just like, just give us what we want. You give us what we want or else.
So, McKay, first of all, fascinating article. And it made me think about how you talk about kind of Russ Vought as, I'd say, the opposite of Elon Musk. You know, he was brought in to head Doge, but he was kind of improvisational, to say the least. But when you talk about Russ Vought, he was always there, right? Quietly, strategically, planning a way. So my question to Michael's point is, what are you watching for next as the two men, the president and Russ Vought, are meeting?
Yeah, the big question that he's going to have to answer in this meeting with President Trump, and that all of us should be paying very close attention to, is where is he recommending furloughs, which is the traditional thing that happens during a shutdown, versus where is Vought recommending reduction in force, which is essentially permanently firing these people, right? Because
yeah, where? Now, if President Trump proceeds the same way that the Democrats would in the past, President Trump would specifically look at any Democrats that work in the federal government and fire them all. Because see, if it was the other way around, Democrats target Republicans. And the reason why I know this, because remember when they found out that there was some military personnel that supported President Trump, what did they do that with those military personnel? They kicked them out of the military. I remember that. It was during the time they were forcing people to have a mask on their face. Remember that? And there's been other times they found out that people were Trump supporters in the federal government. They made sure they saw the exit. Now, if President Trump does the same thing that they're doing or that they've done to us as Americans, all of these Democrats are about to lose a job. And I think every last one of them that went against America, that doesn't love America, that wants to mooch off the system, they should be fired. Go to the private sector like the rest of us. Right? What's wrong with that? The federal government doesn't pay me. Why should I have to pay for these people to sit in that chair every day and watch The View? I don't want to pay for that. They take my tax dollars and give it to them for doing nothing. It's like socialism. That's what the Democrats want. They want a socialist government. Socialism is the gateway to hell, which is called communism.
This is a really important thing that voters and viewers need to understand. This shutdown could be very different from all the shutdowns that we've lived through over the last several years. I think we've become kind of inured to this idea that we have a dysfunctional government. Shutdowns happen. It's disruptive, but then they come back. What Vote is trying to do is to use this opportunity to permanently lop off large parts of the federal government, get rid of federal workers that he sees as basically not on board with the Trump train. And to Michael's point, when I would...
It's not on board with the Trump train. Get rid of federal workers that are not on board with the Trump train. For those of you that watch me multiple times in the past, y'all have heard me say this. I give this analogy. See, the Democrats, they will do corruption. Like they will go and they will fire people because they found out that they were some Trump supporters. They love America and they didn't go along with the wokeism. They would fire them. So now they're saying that President Trump is going to fire people that is radical leftists. And the reason why people were automatically believing it without President Trump even doing it, because they would look over here and they remember, oh yeah, the Democrats were doing it, but it doesn't register in their minds that the Democrats were doing it. The Democrats go, look, Trump is going to fire people if they're not on the Trump train. If they're not supporting him, he's going to fire them. And the Democrats that were watching, all the liberals watching, oh yeah, that's what he's going to do. That's what he's doing. He's going to fire all Democrats, all the progressives. He's going to fire them because we all saw it happen. So now they can come out here and then the liberals will say, let's automatically believe it, even though President Trump has yet to do it. And I'm not opposed to do it. They did it to us tit for tat. But President Trump is not going to do that. He's not going to go in there and see how they voted. He's not going to go in there and see if they're loyal to him. He's not going to do that. But this is how they're pushing it out there. They wanted loyalty to their wokeism. And then they fired people because they found out that they were not loyal to their wokeism. That's what they wanted. And now they're trying to claim the same thing here. And it's not going to happen.
Ask Vote's allies, well, what about this question of when a Democrat gets back into the White House? That's going to happen someday. Aren't you going to regret?
No, God forbid another Democrat gets back in the White House. And you see this? This is basically an open threat. Listen to him. This is basically an open threat. And once the Democrats get back into, if they ever, God forbid it ever happens again, but if the pendulum swings, everything that President Trump is doing now, because they're lying about it. President Trump is disappearing people off the streets of America, black and brown people. They're just disappearing them, disappearing Americans. Not true, not true. But the Democrats are gearing people up for when they do it, to say it's okay. And when they start disappearing people off the streets of America, they're going to disappear anyone who supported President Trump and white people. They're just trying to set the mind for people to, get ready for it. I'm telling you right now, they're going to come with full-on communism. They're already a socialist party. They're going to come on with full-on communism if they ever get back into power. I'm telling you right now, hear me now, believe me later on. Listen to him. This is the threat. He's put the threat out there.
this question of when a Democrat gets back into the White House. That's going to happen someday. Aren't you going to regret, this huge power grab? And what they said to me, and they were very candid about it, to their credit, they said, well, the goal is to unravel enough of the federal government now that it will make it impossible for Democrats to rebuild it, even when they do get back to the White House.
Oh, I like that idea. And hopefully the Democrats will never, ever get back into the White House. Never, ever. Let me ask y'all a question. Those of you that are participating in my chats here, my beautiful chats, thank you so much. Can you name one thing that the Democrat Party, and let's just say, you can say the last 60 years even, but specifically the last 10 to 15 years. Can you name one thing that the Democrats have done that we can go say, well, I don't really agree with the Democrats, but at least they did X, Y, Z. And this X, Y, Z benefited all of the American people. Can you name one thing that all of America can go, this was really good? Like, for example, President Trump's tariffs bringing billions of dollars into the United States of America. This is really good for all of America. President Trump closing down the southern border, preventing drugs, trying to prevent all of the drugs, all the trafficking of children, all of the criminals are coming across. This is a good thing for all of America, right? I think we can all agree that. You even have some Democrats go, they should have shut the border down. Some of them are even saying it. So this is something that's been beneficial to all of America. My question is, can you name one thing that the Democrats have done? And be honest with you, I can't name of anything. Nothing that all of America has benefited from it. And say, well, at least they did that. And the way I see it, there is nothing. And I've been asking that question for a while. There is nothing. And the reason why there is nothing is because the Democrats hate this country. The Democrats want this country to fall. The Democrats want a socialist, liberal utopia. That's what they want. And if you have conversations with these progressives, they say, well, we can do socialism better. Have you ever heard them say that? First time I heard that was in San Francisco at the DNC. I was at the DNC and I was outside Bernie Sanders. He had a little get together down the street from the DNC, the after party. And we went down there and we were outside because, they wouldn't let us in, especially when any Trump paraphernalia on. And so we were outside and this white female liberal, I was having a conversation with her and she said, well, we can do socialism better. Says every communist nation that has crumbled in the past. We can do it better. Really? Socialism should be outlawed. It should be. Just like the Democrat Party should be outlawed. The Democrat Party should not exist. The Democrat Party, after the first Civil War, should have been abolished because of their terrible things, what they've done to humanity. The Democrat Party should not even exist today. And it is still the same Democrat Party. But Will Johnson, a party switch. Really? The party switch? There was no switch. The only switch, and I've said this multiple times throughout the year, was the tactics of the Democrat Party. That's the only thing that switched. That's the only thing. But to get back to the federal government losing jobs because they're getting ready to be fired. The first term President Trump was in, we were all expecting President Trump to go around and say, you're fired, you're fired, you're fired, like The Apprentice. And I didn't even watch President Trump on The Apprentice. I thought he was arrogant. I thought he was rude. I thought he was mean. Now I look at it and I'm like, yes, I love it. Now I understand. See, I'll consider, before that time, I was still kind of like in the transition phase when I was in transitioning from being on the left Democrat to a Republican. I was still in the transition stage and I didn't really understand. I've talked to multiple people that's been conservatives all their lives and they didn't watch The Apprentice and they thought he was being rude and arrogant. But come to find out, the reason why President Trump would fire these people and it became so famous because these people that he was firing, they were not doing their jobs. Or they would just royally screw up. And he said, you're fired. And the thing is, he would give them multiple opportunities to do the right thing, and they just refused to do the right thing. And as a result, President Trump said, you're fired. Rightfully so. Just like right now, Chuck Schumer, the Democrats, shut the government down, handed this to President Trump. And you know that drain that Chuck Schumer pulled out for the swamp and handed to President Trump? Before he handed it to President Trump, he put the drain on a silver platter with gold trimming around it. Here you go, Mr. President. Here you go. We're helping you now. So I'm looking forward to it. And these Democrats, they're whining about it now.
The president put on a social media post a picture of Russ Vought and said all eyes are on Russ Vought today. And I don't want to oversimplify what is so very not simple with the government shutdown, but effectively you have an OMB director out of the White House who is effectively running the federal government and making massive decisions here. They could potentially cripple some of these agencies, which we should be clear, as he wrote in Project 2025, he has argued.
There it is. There it is. They're still on the same tiring talking points. Project 2025. Project 2025. Even the Heritage Foundation squashed it. President Trump said he's never was a part of it. But these Democrats, just like every other thing, they get up there and they lie, trying to associate President Trump with something that he's never been associated with. It's like they cannot figure it out. They're doing this because most of the people that watch this nonsense haven't figured it out themselves. Listen to him. Project 2025.
Be clear, as he wrote in Project 2025, he has argued that some of these agencies are too big and have hurt Americans. And so from his vantage point, he has been empowered by the president to move forward with these firings. And then on top of that are the cuts, the budget cuts, that he has been very clear that he has the power to decide what projects get allotted money. And as Speaker Johnson said yesterday, it is a subjective decision, one to advance this administration's priorities. And just this morning, in a tweet, Russ Vought, he made clear that there is another project specifically in Chicago that is set to, at least for now, get withholding of funds, saying $2.1 billion in Chicago infrastructure projects, specifically the Red Line extension and the Red and Purple modernization project, have been put on hold to ensure funding is not flowing via race-based contracting.
Now, this is where they bring the racist element into this. They're trying to say right here, I want y'all to listen carefully, because he's going to assume or make this assumption that President Trump is getting ready to cut $2.1 billion from Chicago because they are black. He's getting ready to make this false connection. And you can hear the white liberal in the background. Yeah, this is good right here. This is what we need. We need to get black people to get into their emotions. And they do it all the time. Get black people to get into their emotions, because we need another movement like the Summer of Love to get black people to go out and hit the streets. Chicago receives upward of $800 million a year for crime prevention. The Democrats in Illinois prevent to stop the crime so that money will continue to flow in. They said, well, we need more money because we still have crime. And they figured it out. We don't stop the crime. We continue to get more money. More money, more crime. Who said crime doesn't pay? The Democrats are manipulating the system. And if this is a program putting $2.1 billion into Chicago and the Democrats can get their hands on it, cut it off. Cut it off. What have they been doing in the past? For the past 16 years, since Obama was in office, you mean to tell me that all of a sudden Chicago today needs $2.1 billion? When Obama was in office, what did Obama do for Chicago, Illinois? What did he do for him? Absolutely nothing. They could have done all of this during Obama's tenure, but they completely ignored Chicago. Why? Because they wanted the violence to continue in Chicago, because it was only affecting black communities. So it's okay. This is another way that the Democrats have been funneling money to the DNC, to the Democrats. Oh, we need money to help the crime prevention of black people, black on black crime. We need money. And then the Democrats get the money. Oh no, we're not going to stop this crime because this is paying us.
Yesterday, he threatened 2 infrastructure projects here in New York. He threatened 16 other Democratic-led states in green energy projects. And when we're talking about this red line extension in Chicago, I know most people don't live in Chicago, but for those that do, this is a 5.5-mile extension that
Here it comes.
Been talked about for decades. Went through
for decades. Oh, so this just proves my point. Obama could have done something, but now today you got to do something about it.
This contracting process and is currently moving forward up until this moment here. And this was a rail line that was going into the far south side of Chicago, a largely minority, low-income population that has never been served by a rail line to give them access to the rest of Chicago. These are the types of projects that we are talking about this White House using the shutdown.
Oh, so you mean to tell me all this time when the Democrats could have done something in Chicago in the black community? They could have done something, and you mean to tell me they didn't, and now President Trump getting ready to cut it off because it's not money going to the black community at all anyways? If they want money into the black community, won't you call BLM? Won't you call the chapter in Chicago, the BLM chapter there? Won't you call them? Oh, nope, you can't. They don't have any money. They went broke too. Imagine that. It's all a Ponzi scheme. The Democrat Party is a party of Ponzi schemes. Take money from Americans and spend it on woke agendas. That's all that they do. And people are no longer buying it. President Trump is stopping it. And I'm saying thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you so much for stopping it. You gotta love it. I love it. I don't know about you, but I love it. And I'm glad it's happening. And just to be clear, remember when Joe Biden was in office? Of course you do, because it was like a nightmare. I mean, it was a full-on nightmare when Joe Biden was in office. The borders were wide open, but you heard Karine Jean-Pierre, even Jen Psaki before Karine Jean-Pierre, and Mayorkas, the border's secure. The border's not wide open. The border is secure. And then there are all these cameras and videos seeing all these people just walking across the border, but the border's not open, right? And all of these people that they were bringing into the country, because they were using the HB1 visa. No, I'm sorry, not the HB1 visa. They were using, what is it? I forget what it's called. It was an app that they were using. They were using this app to bring these people into the country. And the app should have never wasn't even designated for that. It was for the trucking industry. But they use this app to bring people into the country. And because they used the app, they were trying to say that these people did not come illegally because they used the app. And the drug cartel, they were using the app. They figured out that we can fast track people into the country this way, and they were getting paid. So they controlled the access. The Democrats knew it, and they went along with it because a lot of children came along with it. And the children just went missing, and they're not concerned about these children missing. You come up to your own conclusion why they're not concerned about that. But they were bringing them in, and they had to give them some kind of health care. Remember, the Democrats not only were making sure that they got health care, but they were making sure they got these cards, these credit cards, $10,000 a month in some cases, free housing. They were putting them in hotels, all of this. Joe Biden, I'll never forget it. Joe Biden was pushing to give them health care. And the Democrats all of a sudden grow amnesia, act like they forgot about it. Listen to Mike Johnson as he brings up Joe Biden's administration giving illegals health care, federal assistance. And watch what MSDNC, watch what they do. Because this was on MSDNC when they were showing this, and y'all pay attention. Watch what happens. And then the one right after this is with CNN. Watch what happens.
Joe Biden used executive orders, and he expanded benefits health care to illegal aliens in his 4-year term. That was an outrageous violation of the existing federal law.
Okay, I want to pull out just to make sure we don't offer misleading information when it comes to what the facts are and what the laws are.
Now, oh my goodness. She's saying we don't want to let out any misinformation what the facts are and what the laws are. The law is that illegals cannot get federal health care. That's the law. But the Democrats, just like everything else, and I explained it yesterday in detail, they manipulate the system to give people something that they want. Remember they did the whole student loan thing? And come to find out it was against the law for them to, pay off student loans. You remember that? What did they do? Joe Biden said, oh, well, we'll just take money from over there and then we'll put it over here for the student loans. They found like a loophole to try to get around it. Still breaking the law. It's the same thing here. The federal fundings can't go directly to illegals for health care. They can't sign up for it. It's not there. Not allowed. But they told illegals to go to the emergency room. And when the illegals go to the emergency room, can't be turned away. Guess who pays for that? We do. Federal funding pays for it because the hospitals get the federal funding. That's how it happens. And at the same time, they're getting federal funding and then they still increase our premium. They still increase our health care while they're still taking money from us to pay for the illegals' health care. And she says, the misinformation and the facts. Really? Give me a break. Now listen to the one from CNN.
Now, why are we saying that they want to return and restore taxpayer-funded benefits to illegal aliens? Because that's exactly what they did. That's exactly when they rejected the clean CR that we sent over. The Senate Democrats.
All right, we're listening here to Speaker Johnson. He's trying to frame the shutdown as a Democratic shutdown. He also falsely claimed that Democrats want to give extend health care to illegal immigrants. That is not true.
You know what I realize, and many of you realize this too, is that MSDNC and the Communist News Network, they don't report the news. They interject their opinions. And they are the media outlets strictly to elevate and help Democrats. They're lying. They know exactly what Mike Johnson is talking about. They know exactly what he's talking about. 100%. They're lying through their teeth. They want to be able to put it back in place. I mean, come on. It's like they all got the memo too. When Mike Johnson, if he mentions anything about Joe Biden's administration, the Democrats wanting health care for illegals, you got to cut them off. And see, they got to cut them off because they don't want the people that watch that crap to know the truth. They don't want people to know the truth. So they have to cut it off as much and as quick as possible. It is what it is. It is what it is. So with that said, I want to thank you all so much for joining in. Thank you so much for being here. Look, let me remind you again, if you would please, go to my website. And let me put up on the screen here. Go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com. And if you can go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, which you see right there at the bottom, screenshot it. I asked everyone yesterday if you would, because I wrote a letter to President Trump about the way they're still censoring conservatives. I mean, they're still doing it. Even though Google just the other day reported and said that, they acknowledged that they were doing this during Joe Biden. Joe Biden's administration went to them to censor Americans. They acknowledged doing it, right? And Jim Jordan, the Judiciary House Committee, put a statement out on X. And last time I saw it was at 42 million views, put the statement out there that Google acknowledged that they were censoring Americans. Well, just because they acknowledge it doesn't mean they're going to stop doing it. See, these leftist big tech companies, they're still wanting the Democrats to be elevated, which is kind of mind-blowing to me, because if you look at YouTube and you look at Facebook, you look at any company in this country, they're out to make money. They're capitalist companies. They really are. They're out to make money. But the people that are inside these companies that are doing the work and stuff, a lot of them have a liberal socialist mentality. And their mentality is to shut down conservatives. And they're still doing it. They're still doing it right now today. So if you would, please go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, download the PDF, and if you could, please print it out, and you can see at the top of it, you'll be able to see it. Let me see if I can click on it here. Yeah. Look at that. So right here, you can see if you click on it, and can I make it bigger? Yeah, let me make it bigger. Right there, you click on it, and it says, Mr. President, I am writing to you on behalf of Will Johnson, a fellow American whose voice and livelihood has been unfairly silenced by big tech. Please help him in his fight for justice and fairness. Below is a letter he sent sharing his story and urgent plea for action. And then in best regards, and then you sign it right there where the line is. And then you can see I have my address there, my email, and then you can read my letter here. You can read the letter that I sent to President Trump, right? There's the letter that I sent to President Trump. So if you would, uniteamericafirst.com, click on PDF, just scroll down. You see, as soon as you get to the page, top of the page, the normal things, you can support me and stuff. And then to scroll down, you can see the times of my shows. I got another show coming up here, Culture Wars. And then just below that, you can see help me reach President Trump over big tech tyranny. If 100 people would bless me just sending this letter, it will reach President Trump's desk, because they were saying, wow, we're getting these letters talking about Will Johnson. We're getting these letters talking about Will Johnson. So I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you, please consider getting it, downloading it, share, ask other people. Some people are in different groups. Some people are in different groups. So if you could, download it, print it, sign it, and mail it. Download it, print it, sign it, and mail it. Right? It will get President Trump's desk. It will reach his desk, but it will bring it to his attention if multiple people were to do this. If multiple people were to do this. So God bless you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And while you're here, while I have your attention on this, I do have my new t-shirt out here. And if I can show you this, Jesus is King. Someone said it in the chat there, made me think about it. Uh-oh. That's not what we want. There's a pop up there. Go here. You see Jesus is King right there. If we can get to come up here. Right there. Jesus is King. It's on my website. This is my latest one. And this is the reason why I have this. I created this one is because they have a No Kings event coming up. And the last time I went to the No Kings event, I said, Jesus is King. And they all were like, no. Straight up demonic. So this time I have my own t-shirt. It said Jesus is King. And right below it in the fine print, it says, and Trump is our president. Got to throw that in there. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. God bless you. It is Friday. Stay safe out there, everybody. Again, uniteamericafirst.com. And I will see you 1 hour from now. For those of you that's going to come over to the Culture Wars, you can get there, going to my website. You'll see it, Culture Wars. Sign up. It's free to sign up on Rumble, but you can come over there. You can watch it. Let me know there in the chat. Let me know there in the chat. And thank you so much. I greatly appreciate all of your help, everybody, in this matter of sending the letter to President Trump. I really do. I greatly appreciate it. God bless everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Other than that, I will see you in 1 hour. God bless. Take care. Just over 1 hour.